And now for the Midterms Minute, a look at the candidates and races you need to know about, shout about, and support to make sure we have a blue tsunami on November 6th. The primaries are over, the candidates are set, and now it's time to focus on the big picture fight. Everything we do between now and Election Day should be done while keeping the most vulnerable and disenfranchised among us in mind. We've included links to volunteer resources in the show notes, as well as those for Swing Left and the Democratic Party's Red to Blue program for the races we'll be mentioning today, so that you know how to help. You can also view every Battleground race by state at bestoftheleft.com/activism.
Today we're talking about the battleground races in Florida, where the lead up to the midterms is already proving to be brutal. Trump only won Florida by 1.2%, and the state includes 4 pivot counties that voted for Obama in 2008 and 2012 but went for Trump in 2016. Democrats are counting on some Trump regret votes this November. In the Senate, Democrat incumbent Bill Nelson is facing Republican and Florida Governor Rick Scott. Although Nelson won his second term by 13 points in 2012, this race is considered a battleground and currently rated a toss-up. As a reminder, the Democrats must retain all 10 battleground Senate seats and pick up 2 additional seats from Republicans to take the Senate.
Moving on now to the House races, Florida's 15th district is an open seat race after Republican incumbent Dennis Ross did not seek re-election. Democrat and attorney Kristen Carlson is facing Republican and state rep Ross Spano. The latest poll shows the 2 candidates in a tight race, with Carlson narrowly leading. Trump won this district, and it is currently rated as leaning Republican.
In Florida's 16th district, Democrat David Shapiro will face Republican incumbent Vern Buchanan. Trump won here by a slim margin. Before the primaries were over, Buchanan was already running attack ads against Shapiro about his questionable investments. And while they do raise questions that Shapiro should answer, Buchanan's horrifying voting record and large campaign contributions from the gun lobby, oil industry, and the pharmaceutical industry are more concerning. This race is currently rated as leaning Republican.
In Florida's 18th district, Democrat Lauren Bayer, a former U.S. State Department advisor under Obama, is facing Republican incumbent Brian Mast, an Army veteran who lost both of his legs in Afghanistan. The race is drawing national attention. Trump won this district by a slim margin, and it is currently rated as leaning Republican.
In Florida's 26th district, which includes Miami, Democrat and Ecuadorian immigrant Demi Mucarsel Powell won her primary. She will now face Republican incumbent Carlos Curbelo, who is currently running ads portraying himself as a champion of dreamers while simultaneously making excuses for Trump's family separation at the border. Even though Curbelo won re-election in 2014 by 12 points, this district went blue in both of the last 2 presidential elections, with Clinton winning by 16 points. The 2 candidates are currently neck and neck in the polls, but the latest Cook Political Report rating has moved this race from a toss-up to leaning Republican.
Florida's 27th is an open seat race. Former Health and Human Services Secretary, Democrat Donna Shalala, is now facing a 3-way race between Republican and broadcast journalist Maria Elvira Salazar and independent Mayra Jolie. Clinton won this district, and the New York Times has called this race Democrats' best pickup opportunity in the country. The race is currently rated as leaning Democratic.
And finally, in a thrilling upset, Justice Democrat and Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum won the Democratic primary for governor in Florida. If he wins in November, Gillum will be the first black governor of Florida, a state with one of the largest African-American populations in the country. Now he faces Republican and former Rep. Ron DeSantis, who the day after the primary began lobbing very audible racist dog whistles. After calling Gillum articulate, DeSantis went on to say, quote, "The last thing we need to do is monkey this up by trying to embrace a socialist agenda with huge tax increases and bankrupting the state," end quote. The race is rated as a toss-up.
To vote in the Florida midterm elections, you need to be registered to vote by Tuesday, October 9th. For most counties in Florida, absentee ballot requests must be made in person at least 6 days before Election Day. Some counties allow you to order the ballot online. All absentee ballots must be received by 7 p.m. on Election Day. Early voting begins October 27th and ends November 3rd. It's never too early to check registration cutoff dates and absentee ballot request and submission dates in your own state. We highly recommend reviewing your your state's important dates and voter ID laws at rockthevote.org as soon as possible to ensure you will be able to vote in the general election. Links to all the information you heard today, as well as additional resources, are linked in the show notes. And today's Midterms Minute, just like every activism segment we produce, is archived and organized under the Activism tab at bestoftheleft.com. So if making the blue wave a reality in November is important to you, be sure to hit the share buttons to spread the word about supporting Democrats in battleground races across the country via social media so that others in your network can spread the word too.